folks, Kel Kellogg here. Welcome back to the Catch America channel. As you can see, Lucy and I, we are out in the PA 14, Pro Angler 14, and we are getting ready for an exciting day of Sierra trout and bass fishing. Fingers crossed we're going to get our bass on, but I'm 99% sure we're going to get our trout on. We're going to start out trout fishing. We'll be running a lead core rod and just a surface line, a top line. This is a pond smelt lake I'm on. It's full of rainbows. There's a few browns. So I'm going to start off with a very natural colored presentation. Primary forage here is pond smelt. So I'm going with a silver and blue junior optimizer right there. And on the other rod, I'm going to add a little color. I'm going with a trigger spoon 50-50 pink and silver. So we'll get these wet. Water temperature 60 degrees, a little bit of breeze, ideal conditions. So I know the trout are going to be in the top 10. I'm going to run one spoon on one color of lead core, maybe two colors, and like I say, the other one is going to be pure top line, and I'm going to put it back about 65 feet. I'm going to hit some areas that I've caught fish in the past, but I am looking forward to a near ideal day. It is the last day of April. The bass should be doing their thing. We're going to throw some jigs, some Ned rigs, some stuff like that a little bit later on. But for now, let's get our trout on, baby. I'm only a few yards offshore, and I'm already seeing some pretty juicy marks. I believe they're trout, and I'm also seeing some bait. I'm going to probably need to cover some ground to find biting fish, and that's why I chose medium speed spoons. My target speed's going to be about 2.5. I'm going to get this optimizer out there, and then I'm going to get the trigger spoon out on one color of lead core. We'll start making the rounds. We'll keep things pretty quick in terms of presentation and see if we can find some active fish. I'm going to go back through that same area and see if those are indeed trout. They sure look like trout, and based on their depth and just the way they looked, the way they were oriented to the pond smelt, I'm guessing that those are rainbow trout, but we're going to find out. Drag set on that one. Now my top line is top lining. Let's get the lead core rig out there, the hybrid lead core rig. If you're not fishing lead core, you're not catching as many trout as you could be, and you're certainly not catching as many big trout as you could be. Lead core is absolutely awesome, but if you've been watching the channel for any time at all, you already know that. So on this rod, I've got a 48-foot top shot of 20-pound mono. I've got an 8-pound test leader that the spoon is running off of. The leader is fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon reflects light at the same rate as water, and that renders it virtually invisible. And under that, I have 3 colors of lead core line. Each color of lead core is going to get me down approximately 5 feet, maybe a little less at this speed. So each color is 30 feet long. So there's the first color. There we go. I'm going to put out all of that color. Just a hair more of the second color. Check that drag. Feels right. Let's go back through those fish for our first pass. And then, if we don't get a hookup, we'll head up lake. Very familiar with this lake. I'm at Rollins Reservoir near Colfax, California. I've been fishing the lake for 25 years. So I got a pretty good idea what goes on here in terms of the forage base, the fish, the fishery, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a beautiful, sunny, warm day. Possibility of some thunderstorms later, so we might get some periods of overcast. But it's going to be a very pleasant day. It's going to be our first real spring day here fishing in the Sierra foothills. So fingers crossed, one of these rods is going to take a dip, and we are going to be into our first Rollins Lake rainbow of the year. 10 minutes in, quick update. I went through the marks back near where I launched, 0 results. Now I'm down the shoreline, and I've got surface activity all over the place out here that I am certain are trout up feeding on terrestrial insects on the surface. I'm going to go through this area. This is an area where I have consistently caught fish for many years. Fish just broke there, another one beyond it. If they don't respond to these lures, I am going to immediately slow down and go smaller. I'm going to put on some Trigger Spoon Juniors and see if I can draw a strike. I'm still very confident in these presentations here, but based on the level of fish activity, I'm not going to sit on these lures and just fish them and fish them and fish them and not get hit. Sometimes I have a great deal of patience when it comes to, the lures that I have in the water, but typically only after they've proven themselves, reasonably recently at that body of water. In this situation, I haven't been out on this lake in many months, and I am clearly seeing fish activity. So if I don't get a hit here in the next, say, 10 to 15 minutes, it's time to start playing with the gear and changing things up. Fish on right there. Fish on. 50-50 pink and silver trigger spoon. Oh, that's great. Right there. Awesomeness. On the hybrid lead core rig. So that's 2 hits on the bright colored spoon, 0 hits on the natural colored Optimizer Junior. Ooh, this guy's fighting. Seeing more marks on the screen right through here too. And I saw surface activity right here. Nice little rainbow trout here. Right there. Bam. Ooh, and the spoon out of his mouth. High Sierra awesomeness right there. Beautiful little blueback trout. Man, he's just fantastic. I got some pretty good intel when I came out, just based on what I was seeing on the screen. Most of the fish I'm seeing are in the top 15 at the deepest. And I also had a lot of surface activity out in this area. And this is an area of the lake where I would expect to find fish. And sure enough, they were here. This lake's been planted a couple times this winter. And fish at Rollins, the rainbows at Rollins, they tend to dial into the food chain here real fast. They'll start feeding on those pond smelt almost immediately. And once they've been in here a few weeks, they get really energetic. They get really chrome bright. It's a great fishery. Fish on right there. Pink and silver's on fire. It's on fire. Is it a depth thing or a color thing, style of the plug thing, or spoon rather? It's probably a combination of all of the above. But they're definitely tagging that trigger spoon. And they're tagging it good. That is fantastic. Getting feisty now. Right there. Feisty little planner. Nice. We'll get you back in there, mister. Thanks for the fun. He's trying to end up inside an eagle. There's nothing wrong with that fish. But I'm going to go back here and net him. Oh, got him. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I don't think the camera captured that. That bald eagle was, I don't know, 30 feet from the kayak. Oh, big bluegill. Wow. I've turned my attention to bass fishing, but you gotta see this bluegill. Look at this chunk. Bluegill. That's a bluegill and a half. Well, you can see I have turned my attention to bass fishing for a little while, and I am throwing a Ned rig right there. I got a bite up there, and I was thinking it was a bass, and I missed it on the first hook set, and I pitched back in there again, and guess what? It was a jumbo bluegill. Here, I'm in 11 feet right here, so I can see fish on the bottom. Oh, right there. Oh, this is a better fish. This is a better fish. Oh my. This must be a bass. This is a bluegill. It's a big one. Nope, spotted bass right there. Mr. Spot. Come here, you. Nice little spotted bass. That's cool. This is the first time I've ever used the Ned rig, but I've read a lot about it, and it's kind of a fascinating rig. It's a little, whoa, it's kind of a little do-nothing style worm. Now it could be a little crawfish imitation or something like that, but that's your basic Ned rig right there. A little kind of Senko looking worm on a little jig head, and what the deal is you cast it out and you're hoping to get hit on the drop. But if you don't get hit on the drop, you can wiggle it, you could shake it, you could just slow retrieve it along the bottom. Really, there's no wrong way to fish it, and it's a soft plastic. So once they grab it, it feels real, and hopefully they hang on and get to the hook. What is around? I'm in 9 feet of water right here. So there we go. That one was on a tree stump. That's a bass. That's a better spot. That's a better fish. He is feisty. Come here, Mr. Bass. Nice little bass. He's chunky. Chunky. So the Ned rig. It's a Midwestern finesse rig. Great for spinning tackle. You could certainly make it more complicated, but it's just a jig head with a small worm or a small craw on it. And your rule of thumb is kind of match the color of your bait to the color of the forage in the lake and the shape. So if you're at a lake where the fish feed heavily on crawfish, you want to try to match that. If you're at a lake like this where pond smelt's the order of the day, well, go for a more minnow looking bait. And from what I've read, like I say, this is the first time I fished it. I've had this stuff for quite some time, and I've been wanting to try it. But what I hear, the compact baits tend to produce better across a range of situations. And by compact, I don't mean shorter, I mean streamlined. If you look at this bait, it's a pine system. This bait's very streamlined. It's long and kind of semi-long and skinny. It has some body to it, but dark over the top, light on the bottom, very bait fish reminiscent. But it could also look like a crawfish that's swimming along, because when they swim, they pull in their legs and claws and kick along with their tails. So it is possible that fish are mistaking this for a crawfish, but more than likely, they just think it looks interesting and they're mistaking it for a pond smelt, which is what they spend most of their time eating in this lake. Nevertheless, it is working, and it's a lot of fun to fish. Oh yeah. Oh, nice little fish. He was swimming with it. There we go. Come here, you. Little spotted bass, Mr. Spotty. Chunk. 12:30. Just took Lucy in for a swim and to get a little exercise. I must have caught 15, 18 bass, something like that. I kind of lost count, but there are a bunch of bass up there in 10 to 20 feet of water, that's for sure. And of course, I caught that giant bluegill. I'm gonna go back to trolling now. I'm gonna work my way back towards the vehicle. On this rod right here, at about 7 feet deep, I'm gonna run a pink Fire Tiger Trigger Spoon Junior with the silver back. I think that's a good choice based on how they were responded to pink this morning. Not sure. But we got a good breeze. I'm thinking it should be productive on the way back. We got another hour, hour and a half to fish, something like that. So I'll get these lines out and we'll get after some trout. Fish on the Trigger Spoon Junior, just like that. Trolling maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Bam, right there. Ah, spotted bass. Right there. The trout didn't want to play with us on the way back in. Just that one spotted bass. That's the only bite I got. Now, if I ground around out here, I'm sure I could hook some more trout, but I already caught like a dozen trout this morning and then a whole bunch of bass, that giant bluegill. So it has been a great day here in the Sierra foothills. I can't wait to visit Rollins Lake again. This place is chock full of fish. Water quality is exceptional right now. The lake is darn near full. The water is very, very clear. The bass are on a feeding binge. The trout are on a feeding binge. Just a great day. Thanks a ton for joining me here on the Catch America YouTube channel. I'll be back on here again real soon talking about trout fishing, maybe talking about bass fishing. If you like this kind of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and you'll always know when I'm here, when one of the team members is here talking about fishing. There's a lot of fishing to come this spring and summer. It's going to be a great year here in Northern California. I can't wait to bring all the action to you and help you catch more and bigger fish. I'm Cal Kellogg. Have a great day.